fighters who are fighting for their country, to liberate their country from being a possession of U.S. imperialism, are locked in prison today. The Move 9, they just brought a Somali brother, 15 years of age, brought him from Somalia to the U.S. and want to put him in prison for his life. 4 brothers in Newburgh, up in New York and the Bronx, are being tried. 5 brothers in Miami have just been convicted of so-called homegrown terrorism acts when they were rounded up and they were entrapped by some snitch who worked for the government, who took advantage of their anger at the system. People have a right to be angry. So shut down the prison industrial complex. Self-determination is a right. Oppressed people have a right to determine their own future and how their community should be run. That's very basic. That's basic. So based off of that, we support the right of the Iraqi people to defend themselves, the right of the people of Afghanistan to defend themselves, the right of indigenous people in this country to defend themselves, the right of all oppressed people, black people, Latino people in this country to defend themselves. This is the prison house of nations. You have the Kanaka Maoli, who are the people of Hawaii, whose land has been stolen from them and they're squatters on their own land. The indigenous people of Alaska, the indigenous people all throughout the borders of what is the U.S. Black people who were brought here as slaves, brought from many different tribes and made into one nationality through years of slavery and oppression. People have a right to self-determination, all oppressed people, and we support the right to self-determination. Defeat U.S. imperialism. See, when we talk about imperialism, we're not just talking about the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and all the threats of war, but we're also talking about neoliberalism, white supremacy, the destruction of people's economies, the fact that so many Mexican farmers have been driven off the land because the market is flooded with cheap American U.S. corn. Justice and equality for all women. It's a shame that the brother George Tiller was just assassinated. And he was a hero. He was a hero. And while they were rounding up the brothers in Newburgh and entrapping them, this murderous thug who assassinated George Tiller was allowed to make his threats. The man had been shot in his arms twice. One of his clinics had been bombed. But he was allowed to roam free until the day that he assassinated George Tiller. Safety and equality for lesbian, gay, bi, trans, and queer youth. It was something that opened my eyes, is what it is like for especially a trans person of color, to just basically get a job and a place to stay. And all the backward, not only races, but all this right-wing ideology that wants to deny people the right to define for themselves who they are. We support the right of LGBT people. But ultimately we believe we must fight for these things and fight for all gains in this society. But underneath this system, even if we win them, they are always looking to take them back. Welfare is gone. Whatever social safety net was taken away, it was won after years of struggle, and when that struggle waned, it was taken away. In order to protect those things, we have to fight for a better future. And that better way forward is when the workers run society based off of their needs and in their interests, and that's socialism.